Maybe some miscommunication going on here between Mo and Mikey that needs to be cleared up.
I think that's exactly what it is. And I need one to let Mikey know that I'm not the freak that I now appear to be.
I don't believe you. You talk to me in a certain way.
Mikey thinks I'm making eyes at him. Oh, saying certain
Everybody's
things.
in love with me.
Yeah.
Weird.
Now I understand what you're going through, Abby, because I found myself in a similar predicament.
I don't know. I kind of ship you two. I see it.
So I'm not mad at him with the new haircut. So I get a random text, and I'm going to try to be as PC as I possibly can with this story. Out of nowhere. And every once in a while, I don't know why, but I get random text messages from numbers I don't know. It could be political. Sometimes it's random. Sometimes it's of more of a sexual nature. I don't know where these texts come from, but they just pop up on my phone. So, of course, sometimes they come with a link. I never click it. I'm just going about my business. But there was one time when I got a text like this, and I followed up with the person because I thought it would be funny on my podcast to actually have like a conversation over the air about it in real time. So I got one day, and what was different to me immediately was it was an Atlanta area code. So I'm like, okay, normally it's an area code that I don't recognize when it comes, like when I get these strange texts. Mm-hmm. This one seemed to have been coming from someone I may have known, but I wasn't sure who it was. And all the text said was, my breast hurt. That's what it said. Didn't say breast, but that's what it said.
So with a T?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So I'm like, what? Like, who would send me this with? This is so random. Like, so it happens to be while Katie and I are recording the podcast that I get this text. So I'm like, Katie, I think instead of me ignoring this, I think I should respond. And we should see where this goes.
Play it out.
Play it out, right? Let the listeners follow along with us.
I would have responded, and what do you want me to do about that?
So that's what I wanted to respond, but for whatever reason, Katie wanted me to respond, how big are they? Let's see, right? I don't know.
All right, that makes some sense.
Right?
This does make some sense. This is tracking.
I guess we have to get a visual to understand how we can help. Right?
Yeah, you gotta see what you're working with here.
Right. And for those that don't know, and if you're a new listener, Katie, Mo's co-host on In the Moment, is a lesbian.
Exactly. So, and we also added, what does hell feel like? Because the initial text was, my breast hurt like hell. So the response were, they're big and it's a deep burn in the breast was the response, right? So at this point, we text what I just said about what Katie said about, well, let's see if we can help. And then I get a picture. It's a very interesting picture. I don't know. Yeah, that's the picture.
So it's a plate of beans with 2 fried eggs on top.
What in the hell?
Which is
getting more and more random.
Which is exactly my response, right? Like, okay, what is this?
I mean, the eggs do resemble tatas.
Right. So that was the point of the picture, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, where does somebody find eggs that resemble tatas? Then the next text we sent was, which again from Katie, so you cooking up breasts like that?
It does look like a very well fried egg.
It does.
That's an over easy if I ever saw it.
So funny you say that, because the next response is day over easy. No.
So, what is happening right now?
Right?
So now I'm like super confused. And at that point, I'm like, all right, Katie, I can't play this game anymore. Because at this point, this has been like a week or so of going back and forth with this person. I have no idea who's sending me this.
Okay,
Just
so this
talking
isn't
about
happening.
egg boobies.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this isn't happening in real time.
No, this is actually over a span of a month. This
Was
is
it
an
a month?
entire month.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that.
So the first text, the first text that I sent was, my breast hurt like hell. It makes sense in context because this is the day after me and Abby had our workout competition.
But the step he's skipping is before that. When we're on the podcast, live on the podcast, Katie's like, let's just call the number. And I'm like, we're going to just call it? She's like, let's call it. So when we call the number, I hear, yeah, Mikey Wakefield here. That's when I found out that it was Mikey the entire month. So then you can take it from there.
Okay, so I send the text the day after the competition. I'm just like, yeah, my breasts hurt. I just thought I'd let him know.
You choose to use the T word instead of chest.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, that's
Most would say, like, after you work out, my chest is so sore.
My pecs are sore.
Right.
Yeah.
Not Mikey. He goes right for the T word.
And they hurt like hell. But that was sent on June 28th. Mo, you go somewhere overseas. You go to some country.
Oh, that's right.
I'm looking at you
Went
over
to
there and I'm
Europe.
like, oh, he has this text and he has no idea who it's from. I know he doesn't have my number. Then June 11th. The first one's June 28th. June 11th, he
July
sends
11th,
back.
you mean?
July 11th. How big are they and what does hell feel like to you? So at this point, right then, I had already told Katie that I texted Mo that. So I assumed that she brought Mo into it. And so Mo knew that it was me.
So Katie was playing both sides of it for the content.
Yeah.
Okay.
She knew that it was Mikey, but she never told me that she knew it was Mikey.
She's a master puppeteer. This
Absolutely.
is genius.
100%.
It was completely genius. So I am texting Mo back to these freaky messages he's sending me, thinking that he knows that it's me. And I'm like,
It's Katie
"Man."
told him, of course, right?
Yeah. And I was like, I mean, this was funny at first. It's just getting weird, Mo. Like, you're kind of a weird guy.
And the whole time, I'm doing it for content on the podcast, but Katie is not telling Mikey that.
Right.
So Mikey is getting this thinking like that I'm doing this in my personal time, and this is just how I give it up.
So sometimes we'd go on little like spurts, like a couple texts back and forth, like, oh, so you cooking up like that for breakfast? I say every day. And then finally later that day, I'm sitting in my room and I get a telephone call and it's from Mo. And I'm like, all right, we're going to, what does he want me to do? Come over? And I answer the phone. I'm like, hey, hello. And he's like, who is this? I said, Michael Jonathan Wakefield. And then he falls out. And I'm like, oh, you had no idea. Katie's a genius.
Yeah, all this time, Katie had me looking like a freak of the week.
Well played by Katie more than anything else.
The Bert Show.